Hi, it's Darren from Leading from Human-Heartedness, and I want to wrap up this week. I've been talking about well-being and how it supports leadership, how it is the one thing that really makes a difference in the quality and the efficacy and the ease with which you can lead and be most fully, authentically yourself, most powerfully influential and impactful. And what I mean by those words is that you can really show up and make a meaningful difference when you feel well and you don't have physical discomfort or cognitive tiredness or other mental stresses, things that are bothering you, distracting you from fully showing up and focusing and courageously and proudly standing up to make a difference and to inspire others to follow your lead or to support others in a role as a leader. So this core question is, what's really holding you back? What's really holding you back from successfully making a difference? And to reiterate, the big idea here is what you don't know about well-being, what you don't care for about well-being, meaning if you don't take care of these aspects around your well-being, if you are not being well, if you are not feeling well. So being well will mean you're unconscious of the fact that you feel well. If you are feeling well, you are consciously checking into how you are feeling, right? So if you're not being and feeling well, you're not going to be calm. You're not going to be contented. You're not going to be able to think as clearly or rationally or reasonably as you normally would. You're not going to be able to act your best. Another way of saying most authentically, easily you, without being conscious or second guessing or looking in from the outside, trying to determine if you're doing the right things. And you're going to experience more of what I prefer to call undesirable, not negative, undesirable emotions, because negative and positive aren't necessarily the right words to use to describe emotions, because we have emotions. We have emotions that we would prefer to have more often and emotions we'd like to have much less of. So the kind of emotions that support you as a leader are feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling appreciated, feeling compassion and empathy for situations, for other people, feeling joy, feeling happiness, and feeling secure, even feeling full, feeling satisfied, because this aspect of not feeling like you're hungry will alleviate any anxiety or stress that distracts the mind from being present as a leader. So that might seem like a lot, but if I was to say, take out a piece of paper, or maybe let me rephrase that. If I was to invite you to take out a piece of paper and a pen and say, okay, without thinking too hard, write down the numbers 1 through 10 on 10 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, come up with 10 reasons why you think you're not succeeding at making a difference, or 10 reasons why you think you're not succeeding in your leadership skill and ability. It might be a great exercise to pause the video or the podcast right now and do it, or make a note to do it later if this is something that you think could be insightful, especially the information that I'm going to share with you here. For example, you might say, well, I don't know enough about leadership. Maybe I need to go to university or college or buy a course on leadership. Or I'm simply not a good enough leader. I don't know what it means to be a good leader. Or, I don't have enough followers on my social media or my website where I'm publishing information, sharing information about what it is I do that is in some way associated with leadership, change making, or social entrepreneurship. Or I haven't discovered my true mission and my passion, so I don't know what direction I should take. Or every time I get on social media, I just want to like yell at other people because I see the anger and the polarization, or whatever reason that you have. But guess what? Every single one of those reasons could be absolutely true as a standalone reason. They could each be one part of a bigger challenge that you're having in trying to make a meaningful difference in the world. But there is one thing. There is that one big pivotal thing that is definitely holding you back from the ease with which you could solve all of those real challenges, whatever that list of 10 is. And that is your well-being, and specifically how you feel. Now, I've spoken about this in another episode this week. FEEL is my acronym for freedom, energy, enthusiasm, and love. So if you're not fully feeling and able to express each of those 4 qualities, you're not in your best state of well-being. So freedom is just, freedom from distraction, freedom to be who you are authentically, feeling like you can do what it is you would like to do without hindrance or oppression or suppression in some way. Energy is both the physical and the mental energy, the cognitive energy. I'm not being held back by overtiredness or physical discomfort or pain or what have you. And enthusiasm is that the motivation, the drive, the inspiration you have for the difference you want to make. And love. Love is all these aspects of acceptance and connection and care that we both give and receive that make us feel understood and like we belong. And if you're not feeling freedom, energy, enthusiasm, and love, you're not being your truest, most authentic self. You're not being the best, the most natural leader you can be. Like, natural in the sense that you're showing up, you're leading in the ways that you've learned, embraced to be the best leader you can be, and natural in the sense of you're not thinking about it. You are truly leading by supporting others. If you're not feeling well, you're not able to feel calm and content. You're not able to think clearly, logically, or reasonably. And you're not being true, fully true to what you stand for and what you believe in. When you prioritize your health and well-being, your self-care first before everything else, you're cultivating an optimal state for yourself, the optimal state of well-being. Yes, I know I'm hitting it over the head here. Well-being, well-being. When you feel well, you can more easily see your challenges as something to overcome, because you have clarity of mind, because you have self-compassion, and you have compassion outside of yourself for the situation or people, and you have the patience for yourself. Remember the episode before this, I talked about the impatience that a lot of leaders have. You have the patience to figure out, what are the skills I might be missing? Or what don't I know? What do I need to learn? But when we're almost head down, eyes furrowed, frustrated, challenged, why is this not working? We are in a more of a reactive or defensive state that moves us out of our logical thinking, call it our more human brain, puts us more into the older part of the brain, the more reactionary animal part of the brain, which is seeking comfort, which is seeking safety, which is seeking certainty. The youngest part of our brain, our rational thinking brain, is, according to neuroscience, it's a little slower. It doesn't mean slower in the sense of, I need to take time to figure this out. It means that the older parts of our brain, the fight, flight, or freeze part of the brain, the more animal part of our brain, are much more immediate to sense threat and to protect us. And the thinking part of the brain will be hijacked by the other parts of our brain that are most concerned with keeping us safe and keeping us well. So from a neuroscience, from a science perspective, if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't use this wonderful gift we have to think, to create, to come up with amazing ideas, to be a change maker, a leader, a social entrepreneur, or a community advocate. Do you see how this makes sense? Do you see why, from a scientific perspective, from a genetic perspective, we need to prioritize our self-care? We need to, in our rational brain, be conscious of making the choice to take care of ourselves. Otherwise, it feels like we're always going to be butting our head up against the wall. We're always going to be facing a challenge. We're always going to feel some kind of resistance. When everything falls into place, you're going to have that smooth movement forward until you get to that place where, wonderfully, you get to face another challenge. Because isn't that what leadership's about? It's requesting of you, it's inviting you to be curious, to be playful, to figure out how you can solve a problem, come up with a strategy, help others with your wisdom and your guidance to stand up courageously and proudly for what they know is right, and to ethically support a common humanity of dignity and respect. Thanks again for watching. I'm Darren Steele.